Brian, no bunts tonight, bro.
I know.
Really complete ball game, I guess is the best way to sum that one up. Really excited about our offense. Start there. Normally don't. I don't want to ever take starting pitching for granted, but I thought our offense was on it right from the get-go tonight, and great to see. You know, we've seen Singer a little bit in the past. He's having a good season. We were all over him early in the game. Obviously, a huge game by Raley and Cal all over it. I think Cal's seen Singer a lot through the years, in their college days and everything else. But and a huge pickup home run by Ty Francer late. But giving us a chance that was vintage George Kirby. That's his A game. And when he goes out there with that kind of stuff, with that kind of command, against any team in the league, he's going to have great results. So first inning, they had him a little bit. Hit the couple guys, bases are loaded. He gets through it. The pitch count was up, but, the Royals are pretty aggressive. I knew if he could get in a rhythm, he'd get a chance to get deep in the game, and actually got 7 out of him. After the first inning, I was hoping for 6. So awesome job, really complete game, in my opinion. And, again, I mentioned it a few days earlier, how I felt our offense was trending, and it's starting to play out that way, and a number of guys chipping in. But, again, Luke Raley, if you look at how the season started for Luke and to what he's got going right now, and it's just it's a tribute to the work ethic. I said to our team earlier today, this might be the hardest working team that I've had since I've been here as a manager. Our guys, they put in the time and the effort and they grind, and you're not always seeing the results you want to get, but if you keep doing that with the talent that we have, it'll turn, and it's starting to turn right now at a good time. So I'll take any questions.
What does that work ethic look like? Coming to the ballpark in the afternoons, or what leads you to say that?
What leads me to say that is, people showing up here early. And again, you can overdo it. It's not like going in the cage and just mindlessly swinging. It's thinking about where you're at, and I think they're leaning on each other, listening to each other, and that's how you get better in this game, because nobody's got it all figured out, and it's a very humbling game, as many of our guys have found out. But I am excited about this group. I've talked that I don't think we're clicking yet offensively, but like I said, I do like the way we're trending here, and it's a good time because, we got a big series here at the Royals, and then we got a big road trip ahead of us. So good way to start the series. Want to focus in on tomorrow night, win this series, and let's take it from there.
After the 432 feet from Raley to straightaway center, is that the kind of power you guys envision when you acquire him?
He's got huge power, and it's funny. I sit down with him the other day, and, you're always trying to figure out how to reach players, and some guys need a pat on the back, and other guys need a little kick in the tail once in a while. There's no reason to kick any of these guys in the tail with how much they care and they put the work in. And Luke Raley's right at the top of the list for me. So nice to see the results coming. He smoked that ball. He's got huge power. He's just got to square it up, and that's what he did tonight.
Scott, we saw a little bit of the furious George tonight after he hit Salvi. He was not happy, and he just kind of went on the attack mode there.
Yeah, I term it not furious. I just angry George. George is angry some nights, and tonight was the night. He was a few calls he didn't get that he thought he should have got, but he was on the attack. Even the 6th inning, you look up, it's still 96, 97 miles an hour. It's coming out hot, very aggressive. Really, really good to see. I know last time out there for him, he was a little frustrated, didn't feel great, but he made some adjustments. I think between his last start and this start, just on the preparation. As you go through the season, sometimes you got to back off some things you're doing. Sometimes you do more in the training room or in the weight room or whatnot. So he looked great tonight, and hopefully he sticks with that plan here going forward.
Some guys can't handle that emotion that it gets to him, but he seems to kind of feed off it sometimes.
Yeah, he does. That's just how he's wired. He's a New Yorker. That's the only way I can put it.
Scott, the Cal's game after getting hit on the hand there early, what did he kind of say to you when you went out there to see how he was doing?
He said it hurts. Yeah, and we're lucky. We're lucky, when something that happens. And it's happened more this year than in any year in the history of baseball, the number of catcher's interferences. And we saw the crazy one over in St. Louis where Contreras broke his arm. But, catchers are taught to get up close. You're able to get a few more strikes when you get close to the hitter and framing pitches and pulling balls into the zone. And Cal's having an outstanding year doing that. That was some kind of late swing. It was like the ball was like already in his glove almost, and the guy just swung down late on it. So you need to be careful. Certainly I know when I'm going out to check on him, hoping for the best and fearing the worst. But thankfully, he's going to be okay, and had a really good night again. I mean, the hits, the pitch calling, the blocking the ball, throwing the guy out. I mean, he's got the whole gamut. He's got it covered. He's a really good catcher. We're lucky to have him.
What happened with Jorge and his hamstring?
Just tightness in his hamstring. He came up to me. It was after the inning. He picked the throw at second, which I just went up to him and said, "Hey, great play." And he just gave me a heads up, man. I don't want to, do something stupid here. So there'll be some tightness. We'll evaluate him tomorrow and see where he's at.
The ability to go to Munoz when you have to for that extra out. What has he learned about handling that and coming back out after that?
Yeah, it's something that I talked to the guys before the game, and certainly, with Mooney or certain our guys at the back end of the game, you try to give them a heads up. And I'd tell Mooney, told him earlier today, hey, if we need help in the eighth, I'm going to go get you. Because he didn't throw many pitches yesterday, and I thought tonight's the best we've seen Mooney in quite some time. I think after we had a discussion here about 2 weeks ago, he has really turned the dial up in a good way. He's focused, he's letting it rip, his pitches are working, and he's leaning on the slider again, and it's one of the most devastating sliders in this league. So he's learned how to get that big out in the eighth, calm down, and then rev it up again, which can take a little time to do. I think most guys who pitch in the ninth inning just want to go out and get 3 outs, but he realizes where we're at as a ball club, and sometimes that out in the eighth may be bigger than any out in the ninth.
The slider, it's always been really solid for him, but has it ticked up a little bit over the past few weeks?
Well, a couple years ago, it was totally unhittable, and his ability to locate it and how hard he was throwing it and whatnot. And of course, the league knows him. And I think last year he got into some more fastballs, introduced a 2-seam fastball. But at the end of the day, that's his pitch. That's what separates him. He throws hard. There's no question about it. But you got to have the secondary pitch to go with it, and he does when it's clicking like it was tonight. I just like the aggression with how he pitched tonight. He's not feeling for anything. He's just letting it rip. And when he does that, good things happen.
Luke, is there a fine for breaking the trident? I mean, what the hell?
It's not my fault. That's all. That's what I'm gonna die with.
Okay.
It's not my fault. I was just carrying it. It fell apart. So.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with. Yeah.
Where did it fall apart at?
I don't know. The bottom fell off as I was carrying it. All I hear is ding, and I look back and it was in basically in half.
Okay, so you didn't spike
No,
it?
I didn't. All I was doing was carrying it, and it fell apart. Go back to the replay.
I guess you could take a little bit of solace in it after hitting a 432-foot homer. Just how good did that one feel, knowing the challenges of hitting in this ballpark, especially earlier in the season?
Yeah, no, it felt good. I mean, if you get it out to center here, you got it well. So, yeah, I was running hard. I wasn't sure that it was going to get out, and luckily it snuck over.
What's been the biggest adjustment? What's been the biggest thing for you in general here the last few weeks? This nice little roll.
Yeah, I just put a lot of work in. I mean, I was busting my butt to get back to feeling comfortable in the box, and it's paying off now.
A lot of guys have been scuffling offensively, but your struggles kind of date back to spring training. You weren't getting the results for the work that you were putting in. What was keeping your faith? Did you get any coaching that helped you out, or?
Yeah, I mean, there's always some of those things, but I think keeping the faith is kind of always in your own mind. So I know what I'm capable of, and just kept reminding myself of that.
Is it tough to get comfortable when you're not playing very much, though? The beginning of the season, it was sporadic, so to try and get comfortable against live when you're not playing much, was that difficult?
Yeah, that's always a challenge, but at the same time, I wasn't swinging the bat well, and you kind of have to earn your at bats. It's just how it goes. So, I took it upon myself to be out there for early batting practice all the time, so I could see a little bit more velo and just try to get more comfortable, and it seems to be paying off.
When did you start to feel that start to flip for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple situations where I felt more comfortable in the box and then regress and back and forth, but I think that the adjustments that we've made the last couple of weeks have really helped.
Scott called this the hardest working team he's ever managed. You're new here, but it's a lot of guys. There's some guys here that have been workers. What are your thoughts on how much this team works pre-game to get ready for a game?
No, I mean, it's everybody. Everybody works hard. we all have the same goal in mind, and we all play for each other, which is always great to see.
So do you have to buy a new trident? Or?
I hope not.
Okay.
Are you a little
Yeah, no,
brother?
it seemed like it was back together. I think they figured it out.
Are you a little brother?
George Scott just called it kind of a vintage performance for you. Did it feel vintage? Did it feel accurate for you?
Yeah, pretty spot on.
Okay.
Yeah, it
George?
felt good.
What pissed you off more, not getting the call to Servais or then him sticking his elbow out in the splitter? Because from that point on, you just kind of went on a roll. Like you
Yeah,
got-
the splitter was a bad pitch, so like I figured that was probably gonna hit him anyways. Yeah, that one fastball, I know that was a strike. So
But you got angry. It seemed like it just kind of got you going, found a rhythm. I mean, a lot of guys can't handle that, but you seem to pitch well when you.
I'd like to be pissed off when I pitch. So if anything, that just fires me up just to make that pitch even more fine on the corner. So
Why does being pissed off when you pitch so effective for you?
man, I don't know. I just feel better. Like just go at guys, attack guys. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. It's just part of my game. I like just to be pissed off out there.
It sounds like there's a confidence level that comes with it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
The knuckle curve you were throwing tonight had a lot of bite to it. You threw some to Pasquantino and some of those. Where is that pitch at? I mean, we always talk about the slider and the two-seamer and the four-seamer. Where's that at right now?
It's always there. Like, I just struggle just getting below the zone with two strikes. I don't know what it is. I just, like, it's a mentality thing. But, you know, when I do get it below the zone, it's a really, really good pitch, and it's hard, especially if I'm, you know, attacking heaters. He's not one guy I'm going to attack a lot of heaters with because he's kind of always on heaters. But, yeah, you know, that pitch is always there. I just got to really commit to it and really just get it down in the zone. Just rip it as hard as I can, you know, under, like, his kneecaps. Like, that's kind of, like, my visual with it. So,
Did you have a new pitch tonight or anything? It was something 92
yeah,
instead of slider?
it's kind of like a hard slider cutter. I've been tweaking with it the last couple weeks. I threw it like once against the Astros. I didn't throw it last week, and then I kind of just talked to Cal in our pregame meeting. I was like, could probably be a good pitch to some righties if we're, you know, living with sinkers kind of out, kind of something off of that. It wasn't the best pitch tonight, but it's definitely something I think, you know, could be, you know, worth throwing.
How long similar to what Logan's doing? Is that based off that?
He throws his kind of off his four seam. Mine's kind of off like the horseshoe here. I'm just here and just kind of throw like a heater. So
How long have you been tinkering with it?
Well, when I first came up in 22, that was my slider. It was like the 88, 89 one, and then, but at the time I didn't really have anything else to go along with it, so it kind of just blended with my heater pretty well, and not in a good way. So I don't know. I just like, screw it. I'm gonna keep throwing this pitch. I think it's got good use if I use it in certain counts and certain hitters. So just got to keep throwing it.
For all the success you've had at this level, to still be tinkering and adjusting, I mean, just what goes into that, the constant ability to want to get better?
I mean, it's part of, like, I have the ability. I know I have the ability to do it. And I'm like just reading guys' swings like during the week when I'm kind of looking at my outings. Like, I just think something hard off like a sinker, like heaters down and away, like what DeGrom used to do really well, just heaters, and a slider off, like a hard slider off it. So that's kind of my thought process with it.
Earlier, Scott said that this was maybe the hardest working team he's ever had. And he was talking a lot about the offense, but how do you see that in the pitching staff specifically?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get better every week. We want to top, you know, what we did the week before. You know, and I always say we do things really well differently, and we have a really good competitive environment. We all want to one-up each other each week, but we're all trying to get each other better at the same time. So I think it's a good mix to have.
Skip also mentioned maybe some slight adjustments you made leading up to this start, just coming off the last start. Obviously
Yeah, you know, I didn't feel great last week, so I was just kind of, you know, getting my work in this week leading up to this start and just, you know, staying on top of it, being diligent.
the later at bat to Perez, that was a splitter, right? The first pitch that you spiked, or was it?
Yeah, so
We thought it might have been a knuckleball.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Cal just he called the pitch kind of late, and I was already getting like another one, so I was like, he's probably not going splitter here, and it was hard for me to get back in my glove, so I was like, well, I can't just throw a heater here, so I'm just gonna throw this to the backstop. So
Wow. even your spikes aren't there.
yeah, but yeah, so.
Thanks, George.
The only time you'll throw a ball.
Yeah.